Hey, 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 what's going on? Welcome to the very first episode of the Ellisa Show. I can't believe we're here. It's been a long time in coming, but also really fast in coming. So I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you tuning in. If you recognize the studio, I have rearranged some things. I have Anna Grace, our tween 12-year-old daughter, has gotten into crafting and has made these beautiful flowers for me. I have Experiencing God and a picture. Oh, and my sign. So it's a redecoration, if you will. I want to just say thank you. To start off, I know that a lot of you are part of our Dear America family. A lot of y'all know my husband, Graham Allen. And I just want to say I appreciate you. You always show up. You always show up. You are dedicated. You have his back, especially this week. Again, I know I said this on his podcast, but coming as a wife, I just want you to know that I appreciate y'all so much. And I'm just thankful. And again, you're showing up now. So I'm going to pull a Graham and say, can we throw some American flags into the chat right now for yourselves? Because y'all are awesome. This show episode is going to be a little different. I am kind of looking at it like my pilot episode. So I have kind of a semi-structure I'm going to do the show in, starting with a nugget. If you remember, I had nuggets from back in the day from Hey America. Some of you have written me and you are very OG and remember when I did Hey America, that was in 2020 during COVID. I think also during COVID, I had bought a bunny. We got a bunny and we bought a boat. So COVID was a crazy year. I feel like y'all can relate because we all, I think, did some crazy things. I only did that show for 1 year, though. And of course, I started with Graham over a decade ago. Producer Jake, if you're a real OG, you'll remember him. And then I've been off and on ever since. And you ask, why? I think the main reason is because I wanted to focus on my children. And then I had a couple of nonprofits that I started. And my heart is just people. I wanted to do crisis response, and I can't do everything. I can't do it all. I know my capacity, and so I stepped back. But after praying a lot, I feel like it was time to come back. And so, again, I'm just really excited to be here. I'm going to explain who I am. For those of you who are tuning in who have no clue who I am, you're part of the Ellisa Show now. Welcome to the family. I am going to, Les Brown is a motivational speaker, and he always says, if you want people to listen to you, you have to answer two questions. One is, who are you? And two is, why do I care? I'm going to attempt my best to explain both of those to you during this show. But first, I want to share a story for all the mamas out there. This is really a show for the ladies, but of course, men, you're welcome in too. But I feel like a lot of moms, a lot of just women in general can relate to this story. And Graham was like, are you really going to share this story? I said, you know what? It's my show. I'm going to tell this dang story. So this is what happened. This is just my life lately. And I think a lot of you are tuning in because you want to just hear the life. I love my husband. He's not the best about posting things on our life. I'm always like, people want to know who you are. Like, tell them what we're doing or show them. And he's just not the best at it, which is totally fine. So here I am. I'm going to fill in that gap for you. But this is my life. I had dance competition with, again, Anna Grace, my 12-year-old. She killed it. But that whole thing, I am new to the dance competition mom life. That whole thing is wild. That's a whole story in and of itself. But during the middle of dance competition, I get this. Now, here's a little background context to this. My son had 2 sugar gliders. Yes, this is where the story's going. One of the sugar gliders was named Snow. Unfortunately, both of these sugar gliders passed away within days of each other. The veterinary office, who did not, as I feel, take care of the sugar gliders as they should have and cost me a fortune, wrote me twice after that asking when the appointment for Snow would be. Okay, this is the context. So I'm sitting in the audience during dance competition, and I'm exhausted. If you know anything about competition, it's kind of like travel baseball. It's very tiring. Okay. I get this message. Hi, can you come at 10:45 with Snow on February 16th? I say aghast, question mark, question mark, question mark. She passed away. I'm tired of explaining this to y'all. And then I quickly realized something, but I'm just going to, for dramatic sake, I'm going to just go ahead and read this, what I wrote. Then I put, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I thought you were the vet. Ha ha. We had an animal named Snow. I'm so sorry. Yes, I will be there for that. And then she writes, yes, this is McBee Lash Bar. I said, yes, I'm so sorry. I'll be there. Apparently, my lash tech is named Snow. And so I had a good laugh at myself over this. So yeah, I basically told the lash lady I was dead, and I was aghast that she even asked me if I could come with Snow. I think you can see how I got there. I feel like you can. So if you've ever made a mistake like that, can you just throw up like a thumbs up or I don't know, a heart, something that tells me, please, that I am not alone. This is, I feel like, my everyday. Okay, this is my everyday. I need the dumpster fire shirt that's just like, I forget my kids' lunches semi-regularly, not often, but sometimes, this is my life. And you know what? We embrace it. And instead of being like shame-filled, I laugh about it. I think you should laugh about it. These are the moments that make us real. And I thought it was hilarious. So if you don't think it's hilarious, that's fine. But this is how we're starting the show off because I can. Okay. What is this show? I will jump into this now. I think this show is going to be, Graham used to say, for those of you who can't, I'll say it for you. I think I'm going to say, for those of you who want answers, just ask. The bulk of my show, today excluded because it's the pilot, is going to be answering your questions, whatever that may be. And it's all about relationships, which really is almost anything because life is all about relationships, right? Everything we do, I would almost argue 100%, but I won't go there. 99% is based around relationships. So this is a very relational show. If you tuned in for only politics, you need to go see Graham and Todd because that's not what my show is about. Just throwing that out there. All right. We're going to talk about why the show's needed. I am going to answer your questions. A lot of you ask about the Candace Owens situation. If you know, you know. I am going to touch on that at the end. We will get there. The nugget today is going to be on soul rest because I had a lot of you actually writing me about rest in these trying times. And I think it's been the last several months, honestly. Even before Charlie was assassinated, it's just been heavy. And then it just got heavier and then heavier. And Epstein's out now. And if you follow Epstein, your soul just hurts. And I think soul rest is incredibly important. So we're going to do that as our nugget today. Okay, we're going to get back to who I am. I do not have a producer. It is me, myself, and I'm doing it all, which means I'm going to screw up. So have grace, and we're going to get through this. We're going to do this together. Oh, Graham told me you're supposed to like, subscribe, comment, if you will. That apparently really helps out. I think that's it. So if you want to do that, that's great. All right, who am I? Here we go. I'm gonna attempt this. All right. I'm going to see what happens. All right, this is who I am. I am a military wife of 12 years. We obviously are out now, but this is actually, I met my husband in kindergarten, and then we reconnected while he was in Iraq on Facebook Messenger. So some would say social media's had a big part of our life for a long time. So this is kind of the iconic coming home photo. But he was in Iraq almost 3 years. We met on his second deployment. I actually have a book coming out that goes through our love story. And I'm really excited about that because I think we have a very unique love story. We didn't date physically, but 16 days. And then when he came home, we got married. So this is us. Here is a picture of my family. There they are. So we have obviously Graham. We have Lolo, Asha Marie. She's my toddler. So who am I? I am the mom of a toddler, a tween right next to a toddler, and 2 teenage boys. So a toddler, a tween, and 2 teens. So when I come at you, I'm coming at you from real life experiences when you ask questions because I'm walking through that phase. it's amazing. It's challenging for sure at times, but I love it. I mean, they're the best. They're the best parts of me. Absolutely, by far, it is my absolute favorite role in life is being a wife and mom. And so this is us. All right, hang on. I got to remove this, and then we're gonna go to this one. This is actually me and Graham. We went to the courthouse to get married. I guess I went out of order, but this is our picture on our, I guess, actual wedding day, because we had a ceremony afterwards, but we didn't want to live together before we got married. So we went to the courthouse, just my mom, my sister, and the chaplain who was on staff at the courthouse. He married us, and this is us. This was our official wedding day, if you will. And so, yeah, that's who we are. Hang on, I got to remove these things. Graham told me very specifically how to do this, and I'm trying to do this right. Okay. I am a chauffeur most days. I sit in the carpool line. That's actually a lot of times where I do my devotional. I don't love cooking. I think I'm not terrible at it. I'm not great at it, but I don't love it. So we Uber Eats and we DoorDash a lot of days. I love coffee. To me, you ask who I am, I'm you. I'm a mom of 4. We've done public school, private school, and now we homeschool. We have moved, I think, 20 times. We've been married. It'll be 17 years in April. So again, I'm coming at you from, I almost lost my marriage. The power of prayer works. We're going to talk about that a little later. And I'm actually going to do a whole thing on that. Yeah, I'm you. I lost my way. That's also going to be in the book. I've had tough relationships. I've experienced grief, loss, heartache. I've wondered if God was there, if he was going to meet me in my pain. And then I numbed it. I got angry. I spent a couple years running from God where I was just mad. And I did things I'm not proud of, but that's part of my testimony now, right? And so God can redeem all things, and I'm a living proof of that. So in a nutshell, that's who I am. On the educational side, I am a licensed social worker, clinical social worker. I've been doing trauma counseling for over a decade, and I absolutely love it. I always say trauma is kind of like my baby. Like I really enjoy the field, and I enjoy the work. I am sad where our field is going because so many counselors are incredibly woke nowadays, and I feel like they are doing more harm than good, which is another reason why I wanted to start this show, to try to combat that narrative slightly. But yeah, that's who I am. We have struggled, and then being a military family with 2 children and then 3, we have had to pay for formula by putting it on the credit card, and we've had to float bills with the best of us. I mean, Graham, he figured out a system. He made it work, buddy. He is so hardworking. He's always provided for us, even when it was incredibly hard. But we have lived that life of, yeah, we had to put formula on the credit card and diapers. It's a very humbling, scary feeling. So again, when I'm talking to you, just know I'm coming at you from a lot of things that we've had to face and that we've worked through. And yeah, it's our real life. Okay. If anyone can relate to anything I just said, please drop some American flags in the chat. If you've ever had, went wild, you had a wild phase, drop those flags, or maybe I should say throw up some beers. Can I say that? I don't know. I don't even know if that's an emoji. But hey, we all have a past, and praise God, he sends that past as far as the east is from the west, and his mercies are new every morning, right? Okay. Here's where I'm going to take us for a second. I guess I'm going to jump into a question, actually. Before I do our nugget, I'm going to jump into this question because I'm trying to sprinkle questions throughout, and I'm going to try to get to as many as I can get to, but y'all were amazing yet again. You flooded my inbox, and so I'm starting to group the questions, but that was just, 2 days ago? So you're going to have to give me a little bit of time to kind of sort through them. But one of the questions was from Mary Elizabeth from Mississippi. Hey to Mississippi, that's my hometown. Me and Graham, again, we went to kindergarten together, but we are both from very tiny, tiny towns in Mississippi. Graham was from kind of the Friday Night Lights kind of town. I was on kind of more the other side of the tracks kind of town, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. I loved my upbringing. My parents were amazing. My mom was a nurse. My dad was a hardworking, he did several jobs, but primarily through my life, he was a windshield repairman. And my grandfather was a farmer. So I remember, even, and a cattle breeder. So I remember feeding baby cows, growing up, and it was beautiful. I loved my childhood. Wouldn't trade it for anything. But she asked, all that was to say, shout out to Mississippi, by the way. What made you want to start your own show? And I think for me, like so many, when our friend Charlie was just brutally assassinated in front of the world, it just changed you. It was one of those things that just changes you. And I remember me and Graham having long, hard talks, like I am sure a lot of you did, who were affected by that as well. And one of the talks was just, there's a gap. There's just a massive gap that no one can fill, because we do believe that God ordained Charlie Kirk for the season. Obviously, it's so clear. I mean, how many people he affected for the life that he lived. And somebody had to step into the gap. I don't love this. I'm just being honest. I'm a relational one-on-one person, and being back behind the mic is a little nerve-wracking for me. And it's a little scary, honestly. But when we were talking, it's just somebody has to bridge the gap, and we push it down the line. I do. I would much rather show you who I am than talk to you about the hard things. That's just how I am. I hate confrontation. I run from it. I'm working through that still, but that's just not part of my personality. Graham loves confrontation, which is great because he's a fighter and he's a truth seeker and he's so good at it. But that's not my personality type. But it came to the point where, okay, it doesn't matter your personality type. Look at Moses. He had a stutter, and God's like, you need to do this. And so after a lot of prayer, I felt like God was like, you know what? You need to do this because we have to bridge the gap. And I talked on Graham's podcast that I feel like women are doing such a good job in politics. Women teachers. I feel like women are doing a great job bridging the gap in nutrition. You have shows. And I feel like, in women's sports, you have people who are covering a lot of areas. I don't feel like we have a lot of people who are just answering relational questions. Okay, that's great. I hear you. But Epstein is heavy. So what do we tangibly do to help with that? Because I just want to tune it out. It's draining my soul, and there's nothing I can do. And so my show, I'm hoping to be able to give you just nuggets, advice, encouragement. I'm hoping that we can be a Dear America family, because I need that too. I want our Dear America family. I want you to encourage me. I want you to push me. And likewise, I want to challenge you to step outside of your comfort zone. Whatever it is that you've been praying about, you hear all the pastors like, if it's write a book, if it's do a podcast, if it's become a teacher or a mentor, whatever that looks like for you, teach an art craft, whatever it is, then you should do that. You don't need to delay. And so that's why the studio isn't perfect. I could care less. I'm not in a comfy couch, sitting how the vibe might be of a relational kind of counseling show. I could care less. If you're tuning in to hear what I have to say and not about the studio. All that to say is just start. You have to start somewhere. Move your boat. Paddle, baby. Paddle. You can do this. I'm doing it. I'm incredibly uncomfortable right now, but I'm doing it. So if I can do it, I promise you, I am no one special. You can do it too. That was not even in any of my notes. I'm a processor. I'm not like Graham. So yes, you will see me reading from my notes. Sorry, that's just how I am. Graham is gifted. He can go off the cuff. That ain't me, baby. So I will be reading from my notes. That wasn't even in there. I'm going to get back to it now. That was just a little freebie nugget. Okay. Shelly actually asked a really good question. She asked me, hang on. It's not time for that yet. She asked me, as a Christian conservative, How do we reach dim or liberal females? Excellent question. Coming out the gate. Here's where it's going to get a little uncomfortable. There are things that Graham cannot say because he is a white man. And this is just facts, right? But there are things that we as women need to say and are failing. We are failing because, again, it is more comfortable to be quiet, to go with the flow, have our core beliefs, and we're amazing. I do. We have strong believers who will pray, and that is fantastic. But when it comes to speaking truth, we are quiet. We'd much rather have coffee, not stir the pot, and sit back and let everybody have their views and not make waves, which I get. That's me. I'm preaching to myself, okay? But this is where we find ourselves in the predicament we're in because the churches are also not speaking out. Women are also not speaking out. And so it's very noisy and very loud over here. And this is what our kids are seeing constantly. This is what you see constantly. Dating advice. This is what we're seeing, okay? So I think it's really important to know and not dismiss these liberal women. They're obviously searching for something. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. These are intelligent people, doctors, lawyers, teachers. These are very intelligent people who I feel like who are very lost. Lost people act lost, but we have to combat that narrative. That is our job. Okay, we are the ones who are in that carpool line. We are the ones who are transporting all the teenagers from the softball team or the baseball team or the football team or golf or whatever. We are those people going in and out of theater camps. We're there every single day on the battleground. And my question is, what are you doing about it? Are you speaking truth to your children? Are you speaking truth to other children? You may be the only person who supports them or who asks hard questions or who challenges them on a TikTok video. You might be the only one. So what are you doing? Okay, here we go. We obviously are losing the cultural battle at the moment. That's very clear. Women are a main part of this problem. These crazy blue-haired, crazy women. Okay. Again, the narrative of calling for the ending of a child's life in the womb is just evil and it's wrong. We have to combat this narrative, and not in a way that brings shame to those who have had abortions, but in a way to show I'm not saying this because I don't think this or what happened to you was awful or you were just very irresponsible. I'm not saying this because I want to shame you or because just these are lies and you do what you want. It's your body, your choice. How do we combat that? With the truth. No, here's what I know to be true. I have more women in counseling who have been traumatized over abortion than those who have come at me who have gone through the process and their child has been adopted and or they have found support even when it was difficult or they kept their baby. Okay? More women, let that sink in, who have been traumatized over abortion. So when you're speaking truth, you can come at it from an angle of love, of, no, this is actually like, here are the actual facts of how this affects you as a woman, because it goes against our soul. It goes against our core of who we are, of part of the beautiful process of how God made us is to be able to bear this beautiful child that's a part of us. And again, I'm digressing. I'm sorry. We're never going to get through the first 3 questions, y'all. It's going to be a minute. Okay. Here we go. We're going back. Here's a TikTok that I saw, and I thought this was really good. And I'm going to try to do this. Again, you're going to have to bear with me. I am learning. Okay, here we go. Let's see if I can do it, y'all. Oh, wait, I got to share this. It says, imagine how much propaganda it took to convince a generation that this isn't fulfilling. And I know there have been several of these going around. Let me pause it. I know there have been several of those going around, but that really resonates with me. Because if you think it's just been a short time, how much it took to convince women that careers are better, that children are a burden, that you need to wait till way late in life to have babies, it'll be better. That's a lot of propaganda that has been pushed onto our kids instead of, wow, we were created for this. God made you strong enough. If you need a career, you can do both. I love that we are seeing that more and more, and it is coming and being brought to light. These amazing women who have babies or who are adopting, and it's like, hey, you can do it. Even Millie Bobby Brown, y'all. I mean, I'm not saying I look to her as an example necessarily, but she loves being a mom, and she's done it all. That's all I'm saying. Okay, next one. Let's see. We have this one. This is why we need to speak truth and not be silent. Let's see. I got to share the screen again. I'm just going to walk you through my process here. Okay. All right. This lady's very upset.
Telling her in her eyes. I can't believe this country did this again.
There's a part
Why
I'm going to
did I let
rewind it.
myself have hope?
Oh, right there. I'm sorry. I should have stopped talking.
What?
Right here, I think.
Why did I let myself have hope?
Why did I let myself have hope? She's very upset, obviously, because Trump won again. I am not attacking her. She's young. I think that when you put your hope in any political party, when you put your hope in anything that is not Jesus Christ, you are going to be upset. You can put your hope in a spouse and a child. We're humans, and you're going to be upset. So I find this video actually really sad because, again, they're not Jesus. He's the only person. And I also think this is what indoctrination looks like. I think you're seeing it, and she's not the first, she won't be the last, but there's so many now who are so upset, and they've been indoctrinated for years. And so it's coming out. It was in our colleges. Gosh, I'm not going to reveal my age, but even when I was in school, maybe more than a decade ago in college, it was pushing agendas. And so can you imagine? That's why Charlie started his work. Can you imagine the college campuses nowadays? Anyway, I get sad for her. I feel like she's lost. I feel like she's hopeless. People are searching for love. They're searching for belonging. They're searching for truth. And I think they look in the wrong places. They find something that they can bond over. They find identity politics, this woke culture. And I think we have to be compassionate, but also speak boldly the truth. Again, this is what misplaced identity, this is what it looks like. Okay? Our hope has to be rooted, again, in Jesus. This is one more. And also, if you find yourself, you should be trying to talk to these girls, to these young ladies, because they are hopeless. This is not a joy-filled, happy girl that you saw. And so you should be trying to have conversations, but it should be relationship first. I am not sure. I know God uses all things. I don't know how many people get saved from the megaphone guy, who's like, repent or you're going to hell. I don't know how many people get saved from that. Again, God can use all things, but I'm always going to say you need a relationship. It's always relationship first. So I know people have gotten upset with Graham, with me, who have been like, you just hate transgender people. You just hate them. bigots, all the things we've been called. And I never clap back, but I will talk to y'all. That doesn't bother me at all, because when we help our youth and young adults in crisis, we have transgender teens. We are helping them tangibly, building relationships, giving them sack lunches, snacks, showers, hygiene kits. We are helping them. It takes a relationship first, and then you're able to they trust you, so you can speak life into them, give them hope. And so, yeah, you can come at me with that, but I know the truth. What I really want to say is, well, what are you doing besides yelling at us for not doing anything? Please tell me, what are you doing? But I don't say that. I'm nice. All right, here's one more, if I can get us to it. This is the society. Why am I doing this? I'm trying to show you this is what we're facing and the culture we're facing that's coming at us, coming at our dating lives, coming at our children. This is part in the context of why I'm doing this show. Okay, here we go. Got to share this tab instead. Look at me learning. And then y'all should be able to see it. Bam. Now I don't know how to make it bigger, sorry. Just look at the top. All right.
Who's the best? Who's the dad? They don't have one. Do they look like their dad? Actually, one, yes. But he's not their dad. He's their donor. But he's their biological father. Who carried the kids? You. I did. Whose eggs did we use? Mine. Who breastfed? Me. Even though you didn't carry. Yes. Yeah. What do the kids call us? We're both mummy. Sometimes mummy and other mummy. But lately, I've been this mummy. I don't know why. You're this mummy even if you're not here. This mummy. This mummy. If we had more kids, whose eggs would we use? Mine. Yours. If we have more kids, who would carry? Me. How did we have kids? We did IVF. Reciprocal IVF is what it's called when it's one person's womb and the other person's eggs.
This is not a family, and I don't say that to be mean or to bully or to hurt feelings. Foundational words like marriage and family have definitions that matter. When the word...
Okay, I'm going to go back to me. I agree with her 100%, but it is being pushed. They are breaking down the family unit and what a family means, and that is incredibly dangerous. So again, these are the videos. This is one of thousands, y'all. I just pulled one. This is one of thousands of videos of, again, breaking down what the family is. And I'm going to go ahead and actually share this one too. I should have just stayed on the screen. Sorry. But I want you to see again. Here's another example, really quick. Oh, wait, you can't see it. Ha!
We were so
Sorry.
blessed.
There you go. Hang on.
Beautiful trans
Let me start it back.
group, but there are support.
What are some
There you go.
things that parents or part of Unity or Christian or religious can do to better support their trans children?
For me, my son was in college when he transitioned, and we were so blessed that his college had a beautiful trans support group. But there are support groups for parents, there are support groups for kids, good therapists, anything that I would say for every family to consult with themselves. First of all, hold close to one another, and then make a space where you can be there for one another.
Okay. Coming back to me. Sorry. That's another example. This is, she was actually a pastor or priest. Unfortunately, from the pulpit is where a lot of evil is coming from, and Satan is great at his attacks, and it's so upsetting. But this is again why we have to do a better job of combating this narrative, because this is what's being pumped in all platforms constantly. Okay. And I would not want to be a pastor on Judgment Day who are saying these things. And again, these are mental illnesses we're talking about, and counseling can do harm or it can do healing work. And I don't know, it makes me very sad that so many counselors are feeding into mental illness instead of actually healing their parts. We're actually encouraging more harm. And it's very frustrating. But again, we'll get into that. All of that was to say, this is the culture that we're living in. I know y'all know that. I'm probably preaching to the choir, but for those of you coming in, I'm just out the gate. This is who I am. Agree with me, or agree with me, disagree with me. I'm happy you're here. I just want you to know kind of who I am and where I'm coming from. All right. In order to speak up, we ourselves need to be grounded and healthy. So the bulk of the show, again, is not going to be about this necessarily. It's going to be about how do we stay grounded? How do we stay healthy? How do we have these hard talks? And what do you need help in? Like, ask me. Here's the nugget. I'm going to go ahead and do our nugget. My nugget is almost like a letter to you as moms. First of all, if you're still tuning in with me, like, comment, subscribe, whatever you do. But also throw up some hearts. Wake up, chat. Throw up some hearts. Tell me you're still with me. Tell me you're good, that you're tracking, that I'm not, all over the place, which I might be. But again, I feel like as women, you're able to like come with me and follow me. So we're jumping together. Okay, here's my nugget. Sydney from North Carolina asked, what does real rest for the mind, body, and spirit look like in a constantly connected world? So I am going to address soul rest today. Again, this is kind of like my nuggets, if you watched back in the day, is just almost like a love letter to you. I journal every single morning. I pray every single morning. I listen to 4 or 5 different podcasts from different pastors, and I kind of pray over what am I supposed to talk about. And that one resonated with me. And then I journal it and I write it down. And so I will be reading this. So if I'm looking here, I am talking to you because, again, I'm a processor and I want to be very intentional with my nuggets. So what does it look like? I said, sometimes the nugget you need isn't hype. It's just the truth. The truth is not harsh, it's freeing. And I think we need to tell, especially our younger generations, even the Bible, it wasn't a set of rules and judgments, it's freedom. It's true freedom and real joy. And we don't do a good job of explaining that. But I digress. Truth from the Bible is not meant to shame, but to heal, restore, and correct our path. It has been a very heavy few months. And this week for my family especially has been heavy. I don't know if you know, but my husband was kind of thrown in the fire with some accusations that were absolutely not true. He was called a child molester, actually. I'll just throw it out there. And what's so funny about this, and we'll get into it a little later, even though I'm probably running out of time, is he doesn't even like other people's children. No offense, he loves his own, but he's not like a baby. He's not like a man who's like, I just want to be around children. Like, he doesn't even really like children. So that accusation's so far left field, it was almost comical if it wasn't such an awful thing to say. Okay, we as women, I'm including myself always in the nuggets. We want to feel encouraged, at least I do, stirred, seen, which is my really big hope for this podcast, is that you feel seen and loved. I want to be able to give you all of those things on the show, but I will fail. Every human, if you look to them for that, will fail. Jesus won't. He is the only one that can truly give you rest and rest for your soul. If you are not spending time with Jesus, do not be surprised when your temper runs short, when your joy starts to slip, when comparison creeps in or jealousy takes root. We have got to be proactive. We have got to stay close to Jesus. Your soul longs for this. The flesh is loud. It's selfish. It pulls us constantly toward what's comfortable. Pride takes over. We long for, a lot of women, control. We like to control the situations, which makes faith very difficult for us. We follow things like Epstein, which weighs on us. We have our friends unload on us sometimes, which is totally fine if you have the capacity for it. Politics weigh on us. Life weighs on us. Our work, our children. We worry. And before you know it, you become depressed in spirit. And God tells us that is not, N-O-T, that is not the life he wants for you. It is not the life he wants for us. He wants a joy-filled life that is bold and ready to take on the day. Following Jesus does go against the grain. It goes against your flesh. It is hard. But that also is why it's so sweet too. And the truth is, we do need each other. We need each other. We need a village. And the devil loves isolation. You've heard it before. Isolation's the devil's playground. He wants you to be alone. He wants you to get depressed, anxious, lonely. And the Bible is very, very clear in saying that you need a church and you need community. We were not meant to do life alone. And I get it. I've been there. That's not easy. I have a dear, dear friend who moved somewhere who is struggling to find a friend. I have been in that same situation as a military wife where I have moved and you wonder, am I going to find a friend? You can't manifest a friend. Oh, that'd be awesome if you could. Just, new bestie. I get that there are seasons where that is really difficult, but you need to always remember that you weren't meant to do life alone. You need to be proactive. You need to be seeking. Are you joining the small group? Are you in talking to other mothers at the soccer game? You have to do your part as well, because I guarantee you will find someone who also feels alone, and it is important to do life together. I would love to be a supplement for you. I would love for us as a Dear America family to come together and have each other in those moments, but I am not with you personally. I can be a supplement, a resource for you, but you need that. You just do. And again, I will pray for you. If you don't have that, you can write me and I'll pray for you, because I know it's very hard when you feel lonely. But circle back to, we have someone who's always with us. Okay? We all long to feel seen. You need to know you are seen. You are loved. And I think what binds a lot of us together in this walk is that we're not special. We're not perfect. We mess up. We do things we are not proud of. We're always growing. But we have a Savior who is, and he won't let us down. Even when other friends, your spouse, even your children, your pastor, your youth minister, even when they let you down, he will not. Okay, so let's talk about soul rest. Jesus gives us this promise in Matthew, and I got to find it. And then I got to do this whole thing here. Okay. It's so tiny. I don't know how to make it big. Sorry, guys. But this is the promise. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest, and you will find rest for your soul. Okay, it doesn't say rest from your schedule. It doesn't say rest from your life because it suddenly slows down and you can sleep in. Oh, that would be amazing, but it doesn't say that. It says rest for your soul. And what I love is, if you are a believer, then God is not a liar. And he makes a promise. Come to me, all of you who are weary and burdened, and I'll give you rest, and rest for your soul. And you can end it there, because that's a promise of God. But what that means is that is proactive. It doesn't just happen. He says, come to me. That is intentionality. That is proactive. That means you have to do your part and you have to go to him. And so, how do we actually go to him? Okay, I'm running way out of time. I'm going to give you just a few tangible ways to go to him, and I'm going to start talking faster because I'm running out of time. Number one, before you grab your phone in the morning, sit up and say, Jesus, I give you today before it gives itself to me. Open your hands, give him 2 minutes. Start the day proactively, reset your posture. It changes the whole day. I do this. I can tell a difference when I don't do this. I am more snippy. You can ask Graham. Second, spend time in the Word. I don't care what it is. God speaks to his Word. Get in the Word, even if it's only for a few minutes. It will radically transform your life. Do it daily. Okay, I'm skipping stuff. Third, interrupt the spiral. When irritation rises, when jealousy creeps in, when anxiety tightens your chest, stop. Breathe. Speak truth out loud. If you've ever been in any of my counseling, you know I always say, what's the truth? I always go back to what is true. And again, the truth isn't harsh, it's freeing. Your soul steadies when you speak truth. The Bible is truth. It can be anything, recall anything, and just speak it. Breathe. Fourth, you got to create margin. This is the hard one for us ladies. 5 minutes without noise. Do it. Get up early in the morning. Use the carpool line. Things that are important to you, you make time for. Make time for this. You need it. It changes the atmosphere of your home. And I'm speaking from experience here. And finally, sometimes unrest isn't exhaustion, it's resistance. And that's a hard truth. Sometimes you just need to obey. If God is nudging you to forgive, apologize, set a boundary, to respond gently to your spouse, you need to do it because delayed obedience steals peace. And that's something we don't talk about a lot. But when we stay close to Jesus, we draw strength that isn't our own. Boldness that's not fake, peace that doesn't depend on circumstances, and our spiritual cups fill up. And then we can give grace to our kids. Give grace to our kids when they're doing what you told them not to for the 10,000th time. You can have that grace. You can do it. And we can respond gently to our spouse even when they don't deserve it. Because you are not drawing from your spouse or from your friends. You are drawing from your Creator, and it changes everything. Okay. I'm going to skip because we're running out of time. All right, that was my nugget. Hey, if you liked the nugget, do a thumbs up maybe. Let me know. If you want me to have advice on the nuggets, absolutely share, talk to each other. Again, that's kind of the whole point. If you have tips on how you do it, please feel free to share in the chat. Y'all, talk to each other. I love it. I love seeing the chat go. It makes my heart happy because, again, I just want us to be together in this. Okay, Jenny, from somewhere she did not say, Jenny, anonymous place Jenny. How are you with Candace? Then similarly, I had several people actually ask this question, but also I had someone say, no name, but they did give a state. So they are from North Carolina, no name. Jenny is name, no state. How is Erica holding up, and why is Turning Point not being more vocal? Okay, I will start with Erica. We actually are going down there this weekend, so I'm excited for our families to see our Turning Point family and Erica. Erica is a beast. She loves the Lord, and these attacks are awful, but she is holding up. And I think more people need to be vocal and to stand with her because she should not be having to take this battle on alone, which is why Graham also said what he said, and I will stand by that forever. Turning Point is in the middle of a murder investigation, and so that's one of the main reasons they are not saying anything that will jeopardize that at all. And so I actually admire their restraint on not saying things, because can you imagine how much restraint it takes to not say what you want to say in the light of all these awful allegations? It's godly, because God's the only one who can do this. I am going to play this clip. This is of Graham. This is my husband. If you didn't know, welcome in, welcome in. This is what he said.
I just want to show you guys how demented these people are. So yesterday I saw this going around. So this guy posts this photo and says, "I'm sorry, but this is not normal behavior from an adult. Erica Kirk was clearly grooming underage girls, in my opinion. Here is yet another example of her being a pervert." This is the original photo. And if you go down, you can read, it says, "You got the tassel and that special piece of paper. Keep writing your legacy, baby. Your Auntie E is so proud of you." This is Erica's niece.
All right, we'll pause there. How's Erica doing? I think she's still a woman, and these attacks have been absolutely awful and horrendous. And it's like they couldn't get her on one thing, and so now somehow they've even tied her to like trafficking, with the caveat of saying, I'm not saying she is. No, but you're planting the seed. You're planting the seed, and it's absolutely horrendous. And she's a beast. Like I said, she loves the Lord. She has to stay so close to him right now. Can you imagine? I'm proud of my husband. I stand with my husband. I love everything he said. You can go to Rumble and watch his Candace kind of tell-all. I think he did it in a dignified, very gracious, honestly, way. And yeah, how do I feel about Candace? It's weird because we knew Candace, again, they came up together. So she's met my daughter multiple times. She knows me. One of two things has to be true. Either she is incredibly fake, and I mean really, really good, or she's mentally ill or something evil is going on. It's one of the two. And it's really sad, and I get very, very angry because you are affecting very real people, including my husband now, who I love. I love these people. These are people, and you're ruining their lives. And flippantly at that, just tossing around, Graham's a pedophile. Oh, he took money from PragerU. Actually, he didn't. We've never been on their payroll, not once. And so, again, I love that the absurdity of that lie was actually great for us, because if you know Graham at all, that's like the farthest from the truth of anything. And so here's all I'm going to say. If you are on the side of Candace, do your research. That's your opinion. Okay, that's fine. But here, I guess, would be my biggest challenge is if she is willing to lie so blatantly and flippantly about one thing that you know to be true. If you know my husband, you know that's not true. Then how would you trust anything else that she says? That's my question. I'll leave it there. My husband's a good man. He is loyal, faithful, godly. He is one of the few who can speak out about her because he doesn't have 1,000 skeletons in his closet. A lot of people won't speak out against her because they're honestly not good humans, and they have a lot of skeletons in their closet. And so they won't dare speak out against her because they know she will throw all their dirty laundry out there, and they're scared of her. Well, fine. Graham put himself in the line of fire. Come at him. We don't have skeletons. He wrote a book. I'm writing a book. Our life is an open book. We all have past, but we love the Lord. He redeemed us, and now we're using that to be a testimony. So you want to come at us? That's fine. Come at us. But I don't know how you trust someone who will blatantly lie like that. And then now, I mean, I love Erica, and I just think it's disgusting what is happening. It is absolutely disgusting, and she does not need to be dealing with that right now, on top of mourning the loss of her husband. Anyway, so that's what I think. There you go. Tiffany from Maryland, she asked, how do you get your husband to be close to God? I actually get this question a lot. And first of all, I think it's so wise that you seek counsel for that. I'm going to come at you from a very personal perspective of this. And it's probably not going to be the answer you want to hear, but it's the truth. You can't. His relationship to God is his relationship with God. And no matter what you do, you can't change or fix that. What I will tell you is you need to pray. You need to pray for his relationship. You need to pray for his favor. I actually have verses that I would like to share with you on this one. And I am speaking again from experience on this, because I was the wife who was like, just come with me to church. Just do this. Just read your Bible. Or just find men who will just pour into you. Here's a counselor. Here's the name. Here's the address. I'll arrange it for you. I'll do it all. I'll put you in the small group. I'll sign you up. And, you don't want to be the nagging wife. And no matter what you do, the truth is, if they really want that, they'll find it for themselves. And so it kind of puts you at odds with one another, and that's not good. So I have found personally, this is not for everybody. I'm not saying it's wrong to schedule your husband's counseling appointments if need be, or to talk through, or to even push them sometimes. I'm not saying that. I'm saying for me, prayer is what overrides all of it. And we don't utilize it enough, because that is the most powerful weapon you have in your arsenal, is praying over you and your family. It is the number one tool, and we do not use it enough. And when you start using it, I guarantee you, you will start to see changes. I'm not saying your husband will come to God. I wish I could promise you that. I don't know. But I am saying your heart will start to also change. You will be able, let me just share the verses, and I think this will be made more clear to you. Okay. First one is 1 Peter, and you may or may not be able to see it on the screen. Likewise, wives, be subject to your own husbands, so that even if some do not obey the word, they may be won without a word. They may be won without a word by the conduct of their wives, when they see your respectful and pure conduct. Okay, really quick. I'm flying through these now. Sorry, I wanted to stay longer, but I can't. Okay. Here's this one. For the unbelieving husband is sanctified through his believing wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified through her husband, her believing husband. Otherwise, your children will be unclean, but now they are holy. So again, I like this understanding kind of really quick of what sanctified is. Sanctify here does not mean automatically saved. It means set apart within the sphere of God's covenant blessings. But Paul assures believers that their faith positively affects the spiritual environment of the whole home. So these are things you can rest your hat on, and you can kind of read on. I don't have time, I'm sorry. But my point is, these are promises from the Bible of, last one, therefore confess your sins to one another, community, and pray for one another that you may be healed. The prayer of a righteous person has great power as it is working. These are verses I say hang your hat on, because these are verses that God promises us. And I think if you commit to doing that, even a month straight, and backing off of maybe the pestering, I'm not saying you're doing that, or the nagging, I think you'll really start to see changes for the better. So don't pester him to come to church with you anymore. Just let it go. And that's one of the hardest things. Let me tell you, I come from a generation, my mother prayed for 10 years for my father to find Jesus. And praise God, when I was 10 years old, he did. But it's not always a quick resolution. I prayed for 2 years for my husband to come back to God. Sometimes it is a long, hard journey, but God says also, you sanctify your home, your children see that, and he can redeem all things. And so have faith, have heart, pray. Pray without ceasing. Okay. Let's see where we're going. I'm out of time, y'all, but okay, really quick. I had this question. Trauma started inside the womb. I have so much more. This is more of a counseling question. I don't know what the question actually was. I'm assuming you're just saying, and there was no name, and I didn't want to give her handle, but trauma started inside the womb. First of all, when anybody tells me anything like this, I just want to say I'm sorry. That's hard. And I believe you. There have been multiple research studies that show that stress, fear, instability, and trauma absolutely can be experienced in utero, and our nervous systems are formed very early on. And so, yeah, our bodies remember things, even if our minds don't. That's why the book, The Body Keeps the Score, this is for you. You may want to check that book out. It's a very good resource potentially for you. But here's the hope. Even if trauma began before you took your first breath, it does not have the final word. We know that your story did not end in the womb. Your nervous system can be regulated. Your brain can be rewired. These are all very, very possible things for you. You absolutely can heal from complex trauma, from multiple traumas, from whatever it is. You absolutely can find healing. God can restore what was shaped in survival, and you need to hear that. Healing takes patience. Healing may take EMDR. And I will say this, you may have to go to a counselor. Well, you need to go to a counselor if you're doing EMDR. Again, counselors can do harm or they can heal. Please research your counselor. Please don't be pride-filled. Ask around. Find someone who you know to be good. And if you go and have red flags, do not feel embarrassed. Hunty, you walk out that door and you find you someone else who fits with you. I think finally, I just want to say you are not broken beyond repair. And I'm very sorry if you feel that way, but you are not. And I would love our ladies in the chat to throw up some hearts for you so that you feel encouraged and seen and loved, because I don't take those things lightly. And I will pray for you, and I will pray that you find someone who can help you in your healing journey. No matter what your past is, you can heal. So hear me say that. Okay. But it is your responsibility to heal. Even though life's maybe not been fair or kind to you, even cruel, it's your responsibility to heal and to break those generational patterns. I don't know if you have children or not, but you need to do that healing work for your future generations so they don't have to. All right, Mandy and several others wrote how they were excited to have me back. So thank you, Mandy. Thank you for everyone. I'm not naming all the names. It's good to be back. Mary from Georgia asked about the Guthrie case. It's a great question. I'm praying for Nancy. I have not done my research, honestly, Mary. If you in the chat want to throw in, I've seen conspiracy theories tied to it. I saw at one point Epstein tied to it. I haven't done my research on it. I'm just being honest. I'll always tell you what I do or don't know. If you have theories, feel free to talk amongst yourselves in the chat. It is weird. I did see this. I wrote this down. Something about hang on. If you were going to kidnap someone and keep them alive for days after sending a ransom demand, picking an 84-year-old woman with health issues, because I think she has heart issues, isn't the most logical target. So to them, it felt very personal. And I thought that was an interesting nugget. But again, I don't have enough to weigh in. I'm sorry. But maybe someone here does. Okay. Last but not least, I'm ending the show. Okay, here we go. Last but not least, Kyle from Idaho said, when is your novel releasing? Well, Kyle, I don't have a release date yet, but it should be hopefully kind of end of April. We're going to go for the Amazon bestseller, so I'm hoping everyone can buy the book the week of. But yeah, it's our love story, and it's a romance. I may get some flack for that, but it's our romance, so I didn't do things perfectly. I start from my past, and I move forward to meeting Graham and walking you through that, and I love our love story, obviously. I wrote a book about it. But here, I'm going to end on a funny, because we've been kind of heavy. This is, oh God, hang on. I may end on a funny. Let's see. Stop screen, maybe? Hang on. See if I can do this. Okay, I got to go to image file. Oh, we're doing it. I think. Okay, we're going to open it. Y'all, I think I'm amazing. Okay, we're going to add to the stage. Oh, okay, here is what I asked ChatGPT to create a book cover for me. The title of the book is Before Forever, because it walks the first half through my anger at God and my wild phase that I went through and my broken relationship. And so I did this. I thought it was great. I was like, the red dress has symbolism when you read the book. Hopefully you will. The dog tags, I thought, Graham, the tattoos. I'm like, man, I love this. The tennis shoes. Okay. My the book creator, designer person was like, hey, Ellisa, I love that you like this, but it kind of looks like a gothic fantasy sex book. And so, not the feedback I guess you're hoping for. I was like, I guess I can see that. So needless to say, this will not be the cover of my book. I don't think. That wasn't exactly what I was going for. I guess maybe I like dark fantasy gothic things and love. I don't know. I was really proud of it, but apparently this is not it, guys. So I guess you can weigh in and let me know. Do you think you can just say yes or no? Does this look like, dark? Almost, she's like erotic, like a sex book. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's not what I was going for. You can say yes or no. Let me know. Okay, that's it. I got to wrap up. I'm over an hour now. Thank you, Carol, for asking about that. That was really, really kind. Thank you for everyone who wrote questions. I promise I will get to them. Again, like, subscribe. Please leave a comment in the hard comment section. That really helps. If you're listening on the other platforms like Spotify, you can leave a rating. Those also help. If you don't think it was very good today, I'll get better. So don't share it. Don't share if we don't feel like it's good. But if you're going to leave a bad review, just don't leave a review. Just why be mean, right? Let's all work on being kind then. While I'm still figuring out all the buttons, thank you for having grace. You can write me or DM me, actually, Ellisa Allen, ELLISA ALLEN. Ask me your questions. I want to answer them. I'm going to do a whole thing on me and Graham's marriage. I'm very excited to share that with y'all. And I still have a lot of questions to get to. But again, I'm out of time. I'm sorry. You can also write Ellisa at dearamericamedia.com. I don't know who might not have Instagram, but hey, I get being off social media. So if you have a question, you can write me Ellisa at dearamericamedia.com. And that's it. We did it. I did it. We wrapped it up. I'm so proud of me. Can I say that? I don't know. Y'all are awesome. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for showing up. I will be back at you live next Wednesday. And again, yeah, thank you. I haven't figured out how I'm going to end it, so I guess I'm just going to be like, okay, bye. And I got to hit end recording. So now it's going to get really awkward because I got to find that button. Here it is. Okay, we're good. Bye, y'all.